Do you ever wonder what your SP is doing whilst you're affirming, visualizing, what's actually happening on their end? Even when you can't see it, they are conforming in ways that match your new story, and they are actually shifting behind the scenes. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We are talking about the SP topic today and what is going on kind of behind the scenes secretly, what your SP is probably feeling or going through, or whilst you're affirming and, putting in all the effort, all the way across to wherever they are in their home, in their reality, as they're going about their life. What are they doing? What are they experiencing? That is what today's video is going to cover. So please do stay tuned to hear everything and hear all the points about better understanding your SP. I've got tons of different points and sections to go over today. So yeah, do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell if this sounds fascinating, if you find it useful. You can also work with me. So if you are currently manifesting your SP, which you probably are watching this video, and you're struggling or you have extra questions, you can get everything answered through my membership or my coaching. Those are the only ways you're going to get extra support directly about your specific situation. But today's video is still going to cover a lot, so you don't have to go for the extra support if you don't want to, but if you need it, all the links and buttons are right below. And now let's start the video. On a subconscious level, they are picking up on and I guess receiving, because they're not consciously picking up on, but their subconscious is receiving the shift in your energy. The energy is being picked up on, and they are responding to it. So again, it's not visible or conscious. They don't know, unless they're aware of manifestation and very self-aware and picking up on those micro shifts. They're not going to have any idea that anyone is changing their thoughts or that you're manifesting them or anything like that. But their subconscious will be acknowledging the changes and the shifts. And that is just kind of essentially thought transmission combined with everyone as you pushed out, but they will be responding to it because your energy and therefore your assumptions have shifted about them, and they are obviously receiving it. It's not that you're just focusing on it and emitting this new focus and thoughts and visuals and your energetic shifts coming in, because obviously you are conforming before anything else. They're actually receiving all of that. That can sometimes translate into something like them being reminded of you if they already know you, whether or not there's been a full relationship. If you're in contact, each other. It's not like, a brand new SP or a celebrity SP. Then they will directly maybe think of you, be reminded of you. Someone will bring them up to you. There could be like some instant bird before land on their end, and it might seem like a crazy coincidence to them, but they might dream of you. Something is likely to come up in that moment. And tying it back into the quantum reality, the version of them that you have chosen and saying, this is the end result, this is the relationship I'm focusing on with them, it's already in existence and you have selected it, you're connecting. There's, at this point, probably already developing a quantum frequency to that reality. You're bringing that reality in. That's the one you've selected and put your focus into. And they are actually shifting to that version. They are going to be conforming into that version. It's not that brand new version of them from a different reality suddenly. Time jumps, it's like a time warp and this new person shows up. It's them. They are conforming, but the reality you're imagining is being shifted into your current reality. So they are going to start acting, thinking and feeling as the version that you are focusing on. So you've already selected the version of them you want. That is who they're conforming into, and it is currently happening behind the scenes. Their behavior, their thoughts, their feelings all have to start to shift and align with your affirmations, with your focus, with your visuals, whatever you may be doing. Everything about how they are in terms of, communication, relationships. I'm not saying, their favorite film will change or the way they dress will change. It's more so the way they would be towards other people, but mainly you in the dating sphere, maybe removing hurdles, trauma, or, issues that they've gone through. Those kind of things will be resolved and kind of unraveled and shifted around. So the way they behave with you, the way they think, the way they feel, whatever needs to change in order for them to show up as the version you want and focus on, they will start aligning more with those affirmations, with that focus. And that is before the 3D shifts. That is before they will visibly start texting you as that version, reaching out to you, meeting you as that version. Usually it is more of this subtle internal behind the scenes shift for them, because you obviously don't know how their thoughts and feelings conform until they communicate that to you or show it through their actions. But usually it starts more for themselves as an individual. A good way to think about it is that it's actually good that initially they're going through it on their own. It's not visible to you yet because it's building up. By the time they get to you, by the time it's visible, bridge of events occurs or the full end result comes together, they are almost fully conforming to this perfect, amazing version where the bad behaviors or the bad experiences with them have faded away and been replaced with more positive actions and desires and whatnot, you know, wanting to commit to you, wanting to have an amazing relationship with you, having the feelings connected to that. That is the version you're going to probably experience. If you're not already in consistent communication and contact with them, by the time they do show up to you, it's a positive because they've conformed more and more. And it will often be, again, like I said, when it comes to your contact with them, if you do have some form of communication, even just through social media or a mutual contact, it will be subtle changes and subtle slip-ups, you could say, but not slip-ups because it's positive, but it will be very subtle where you are starting to see versions of them come through. It might be a bit hot and cold and up and down, which doesn't mean it's failing. If they are starting to bring in more positive shifts that you haven't seen prior to that, then it's a positive, even if it's up and down. So it will be maybe they say something really sweet or something that aligns with what you're manifesting, and it's like the most amazing, like, direct sign that you could have got. For example, if you affirm that SP is committed to me and they start talking about the concept of commitment and wanting to be in a committed relationship, that is conforming, that is progress. It doesn't have to directly be, I want to commit to you, I love you. So keep an eye out and just be ready and open and aware that you may see this reflected from them. If you have communication with them or you anticipate some form of communication, it'll be these subtle little slips. It will slip into something you see with them, the way they look at you, things they might post on social media. Also, again, like I said, what they're going through behind the scenes in terms of this video topic, the way they speak and experiences they have with their own friends and family. They might start to conform through that, start asking them questions, start expressing their feelings to them first. Those are the kind of ways that they will start to reflect that version more and more. So it's really this new version of them starting to leak into the reality, leak into what is presented to you indirectly or through direct communication. So behind the scenes, this is what they're starting to feel and think. And of course, that has to lead into the actual actions as well. So the reason it's maybe isn't visible to you right now, or it feels like it's silence, which I've spoken about in past videos as well, about why you don't need to worry about if it does look like complete silence or no contact, because the 3D reality lags behind. There's a slight time delay, a time lag, where it's the inner shift that you're experiencing isn't directly reflected. It's not that you start looping affirmations and suddenly everything pops up like in a cartoon, like this, you know, crazy sudden 180 shift and, you know, SP just appears knocking at your door. There is a time delay. So you have to keep in mind that sometimes in the interim, in the middle process, things look silent or like it's not changing or shifting for the better. And maybe the 3D itself literally looks the exact same, but behind the scenes, your SP is changing. Their actions and words, and therefore any actions and domino effect that would show up in your 3D hasn't yet shown up, but that doesn't mean it's a failure. It's that middle period oftentimes where there is the conforming process. Behind the scenes, they're experiencing the conforming. It's just not been shown in your 3D reality yet. So remember that if you do have that direct contact or you see something from them and it's the same old, they are acting and behaving in the same way, their subconscious is conforming. They are experiencing the subconscious shifts into what you've been focusing on. Internally, they are transforming, but it's just not been shown to you yet. So you have to remember, it might seem invisible, but the invisible movement is the most powerful because it's their own thoughts and feelings and desires starting to align in the most perfect natural way. Remember, it does need time. They're a human being. It needs a little bit of time. It's not that they're a robot who could be programmed to be madly in love with you overnight. You have to give it a little bit of time to conform because it's happening naturally for them. So the time delay and the 3D lag that you might be seeing or experiencing that I've just referred to is giving it time to just dissipate and dissolve before the new reality shows up. So, you know, it's like putting on like through a projector, if you're at the cinema, at the movies, and the projector is playing one film before the next one is scheduled to start. It's a horror movie. You've got to let it finish. Let the credits roll. You can't force and yank the old film out of the projector or whatever it's called, and then, you know, expect the new one to just instantly start playing. You've got to let the first one play out, finish out, dissolve, come to an end, and then immediately the new story comes in. So that's a good way to analogize it, where you're just seeing the ending dissolve. The more work you're putting in, the more repetition and practice and consistency with the new story, the more that old version is filtering out and being erased and replaced with the new story. But you need to let it finish playing out. You can't panic and throw a temper tantrum in the theater, in the cinema, because the old film is still playing. Do you know what I mean? And that, yeah, that does sound a bit silly, but that is literally how it works. You can't get super panicked or spiral just because the old story is still present. The 3D is irrelevant. If it's still playing out, remind yourself it's dissolving, it's ending, it's being replaced with my new story. Something else that I want to tell you guys as well, that kind of tied into an earlier point, but with the old story, you will see that oftentimes replaced for yourself, like what you're personally experiencing, before your SP presents it in any way. So conversations that you have as well will be proof and evidence your SP is conforming, because people in your life will conform and they will start to maybe bring up the topic of your SP in a positive way, or say something or remind you of your SP in a positive way. And that is also signs of it conforming, and your SP will be going through something similar, and it's proof that obviously it's working because they are bringing up your SP. So you may be personally having conversations with people in your life as well. You want to make sure you're not feeding into the habits of over-analyzing your 3D and putting your focus into your 3D. Do not check for updates or proof or try to constantly look to your 3D reality. You have to assume that that shift is already happening and that it's not currently visible. Just tell yourself it's a delay in the 3D, but I don't need validation from the 3D. And until that new story becomes your dominant focus, keep persisting, be consistent, keep repeating that to yourself over and over, because that is going to ensure that your specific person is reflecting and conforming to that as well. So trust that even when you're not seeing the results, but you're putting in the effort, that even if it looks like no movement is happening, there's silence, there's no positive visible shifts coming in, you are putting in the work. Therefore, behind the scenes, your SP is conforming. The shift is happening. It is positive. So frame it in that kind of positive mindset, because you're not going to gain anything from saying, well, my 3D is really negative. That's not going to bring things in faster. So yeah, essentially your SP is secretly, privately, personally, internally aligning with the new version. They are conforming in the most perfect, natural way for them, and it's happening step by step, day by day. Who knows exactly which of those elements I mentioned in this video they're going through right now, but they are conforming if you are putting in the effort. So yeah, that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys found that useful and gave you guys some reassurance. If you enjoyed, please do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye.